Alright, welcome. In this video, I'm out here with Sadie for phase 2 of service dog training. Sadie arrived today to continue the service dog training process. And here in this video, I'm going to be working on responses by way of the stand. The stand to help to support weight in case her owner, again, needs her that way. If her owner, falls onto the floor, needs help being lifted. I'm going to be working towards getting Sadie to start to help that way. So again, you would have seen my videos with Milo working on the stand and assist response. So I'm going to be doing the same thing here with Sadie as we move, again, continue to move through the process. Once you hit phase 2, phase 3, more focus is brought onto task-specific training, okay, based again on perceptions of dogs changing the right way. Okay, as the focus starts to shift onto myself and her owner, then we can start to get the dog to respond certain ways, knowing that everything's going to start to hold together by way of the focus of the dog. The dog is a social animal. So here, I'm going to be moving with her. I'm going to be giving her the command, but at the same time, I'm moving the leash certain ways to generate that response and help to stabilize it. Shaping, as is defined through an interaction-based approach. I'll be rewarding her too for better moments. Okay, so I'm going to be doing several things as I'm kind of moving here with her. I'm going to be putting some weight onto her and just starting to develop this response. Again, just starting to move towards a response-based interaction. So I'll start to move with her right away here. At a certain point here, I'm going to give her the command from I want to do it from a seated position. So I'll bring her into a sit position, and then change the leash hand over, give her the command. I'm going to help to generate it by moving forward a little bit with the leash. Sadie, stand. Good girl, good girl. Now right here, again, keeping control through the leash. Good girl. Rewarding her. I'm pushing, I'm leaning on her back. Good girl, good girl. I'm going to move my hand around the, her hind area here. And of course, when you typically push there, trigger her to respond differently. She's doing really, really well. Good girl, good girl. I'm pushing pretty hard. Good girl, good girl. Good girl, stand. Good girl. Again, I'll repeat the command just to create an association every once in a while as I'm, again, continuing to, interact with her. Good girl. I'm going to move a little bit. Stand. Good girl, good girl. Just to help to line this up. So I want her, pretty close to me here. I'm going to bring her over a little bit. Good girl. Because again, close is good, right? Helps to really kind of stabilize. Good girl, good girl. Move a little bit here. Good girl, good girl. Move her around. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Stand. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Sit. Now I'm going to put her into a sit position. Did really well. Okay, it's all about getting her to start to make the connection, the association to that command. And again, through shaping. Okay, so the idea here is to start to get this going a little bit, which I'm doing here now. And then, starting to get her to go from even a down position. So I'm going to move here with her again. I'm going to do this a couple more times. When I do this too, kind of change it up. I'm just kind of working it here so you can kind of get a good view on the camera. I put her in the sit first, so you notice how she kind of defaults into the sit just by how I'm tapping the leash a little bit. From here, I'm going to do it again here. Sadie, stand. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Because again, this takes the form of a demand, okay? So I'm demanding she does it. She moves away a little bit very close to me. Good girl, good girl. So here it's kind of tricky sometimes in terms of, when you're praising a dog and then you're, asserting influence, you have to kind of switch back and forth, right? So I want to motivate her. I want to be able to, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Over again. Okay. One more time in a moment. So here, it definitely is different in a way because this is taking the form of a demand, which it needs to be. It's like a parent-child relationship. So she needs to do it on demand, not for bribery or using treats. You want to stay away from all that stuff because the problem with that is that if the perception of the dog isn't changed in the right way, if they're still holding a level of control, and then you're trying to use like a treat pouch and you're trying to bribe the dog to do it, then you get out in certain areas where there's other dogs, other people, distractions, it's all going to fall apart. Okay, so here, you know, it needs to take the right path. Okay? It's a demand. But again, still praising and motivating her. So this is all about, you know, making sure it's happening when, you know, I need her truly to be able to help her owner. So I'm going to do it again here in a moment, but I'm going to do it from, I'm going to kneel down a little bit. I'm going to put, again, some weight onto her. And again, just to kind of, you know, max it up a little bit so, you know, in terms of starting to get her to do it when I'm in a different position. So I'm going to do it from a kneeling position. I'm going to push a little bit harder on her to see how she does here. So again, move her around here. Sit. I'm just going to kneel down here a little bit. Stand. Good girl. Stand. I'll bring her up. She wants to go into a down. She sees me in a down. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Now she wants to see. She sees me kneeling down. She wants to go down. So I'm going to stabilize her. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Now I'm just going to kneel a little bit. So notice how I kind of triggered her. Good girl. Pushing. Good girl. 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 That was pretty good. But you notice how when I went in to start to lay down, she instinctively wanted to lay down beside me, okay, which is fine at a certain point, but here I'm just starting to kind of mix it up a little bit to kind of follow my lead, okay, so just want to kind of adjust it. So we'll do it one more time. I'm going to actually do it from a down position. I'm going to get her to go into a down position, and I want to see how she does with just kind of coming up from that position with the command. So she's definitely not liking this a whole lot. Because understand this is about who's in control, right? But so you can just kind of tell from her body language. But again, suppose that's why I add commands on here, or add some positive on here, down, and get her in her down. Now from here, let's see how she does in terms of, again, when you're in a down position like this, good girl, even being able to put pressure on her, because when you're on the floor, you know, the starting point, you start to be able to put your hand on her and then her lift up. So from here, I'm going to bring her up into a standing position. Sadie, stand. Good girl. That was really good. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Give her a little petting for that. Good girl. Now, split. Good girl. Oh, that was excellent. Very good. She did a good job there. That was really good. Come around again. Do it one more time. That was really good. We'll do it again. Two. I'll keep her up here. I'm going to go down here. Down. Down. So she's down here with me. And so you can imagine, again, coming up, needing her to help me lift. Get some support, put some good weight on her. Okay, so I'm going to stay here. See if she come up. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. That's what I'm talking about. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That was excellent. Okay, so here when I do it again, it's just starting to get the framework going. Her confidence will build as we're doing this because as she gets more agreeable, okay, by way of, you know, the roles, right? So this is a demand. But you kind of see how you have to kind of, you know, mix it up, get her to assist if I'm flat out on the floor. I start to, use her. She's in a down position, get her beside me, push on her, and then start to power lift, up off the floor. So there's going to be a lot of repetition as I do this stuff, in terms of getting it to be automatic and start to really take hold in her, perception, her thinking process. But she's doing really, really good. Sadie's a great dog, lots of potential. This is just she's had stress on her, so still about the fix comes through again. A interaction-based approach, but again, she's doing really well. Thanks for watching.